So, Unreal, I finally watched your Connecticon wrap-up video where you just talked about what happened, but you said that you forgot a lot of the things that did happen, so I tried my best to remember a few things, and I got a little list here that I want to go over. These aren't going to be in any particular order because I can't remember what days everything happened unless I say so, so here we go. The first encounter with Carlos Ferro. For those of you that don't know, he's the voice actor for Dom from Gears of War. He had a table in the dealer's room. Now, it's important to note that the first time we met him, I was not cosplaying, but I did sort of dress up. I wore my Weevil shirt from the Conduit review. For those of you that don't remember, that is what it looked like. I had this on, I had some white fingerless gloves with light blue athletic wrap because that's the Wii color scheme, and I also had a belt with a pair of Desert Eagles wedged into my pants. Unreal walks up to the table and starts like engaging in casual conversation with Carlos Ferro, and he notices my shirt and what I'm wearing, and I just sort of like BS and say, I'm Weevil, I'm like the mature incarnation of certain Wii games. I do things with a Wiimote that you can't possibly imagine. You're only going to see it in snuff films. I didn't actually say that, but he kind of enjoyed the idea, I think. I can't really tell if he was just BSing me or whatever. The thing about that is, the next day, Unreal got his Gears of War box thing for Carlos to sign, and I just came in like casual dress, because I wasn't going to wear the same thing for 2 days. That would be kind of disgusting. But we walk up to the table again, Carlos sees Unreal, he sees me, and he goes, "Where's the Weevil shirt?" I couldn't believe he actually paid attention to that, but let's see, what else do we got here? For those of you that saw the picture at the end of his recap, after he showed everything that he bought, you saw the picture of Duke Nukem holding the silver Desert Eagle. That Desert Eagle was actually mine. And I was just carrying it around as part of the Weevil costume, and I don't know, I just carried them around anyway. For some reason, Unreal really liked to carry around the silver Desert Eagle. Quite frankly, I don't blame him because it looks pretty badass. But the thing that you don't see in that picture is that Duke Nukem cosplayer, for the bulk of the convention, was carrying around a unicycle, and he would ride it at random points. If you just type in Duke Nukem Connecticon unicycle, you'll find several videos of him riding a unicycle around various parts of the convention dressed as Duke Nukem. My favorite is the one where the Freakazoid cosplayer, I never thought I'd say that, but I'm glad that I am, the Freakazoid cosplayer is off to the side and he just randomly goes, "He's riding a unicycle! He'll be done when he's done!" For those of you that saw Unreal's second video of the actual convention, the voice acting panel, which the audio didn't come out very clear on, by the way, it was Carlos Ferro, Christina V, and the other person's name was Michelle Knotts, and Michelle Knotts is scary. I'm just going to say that right now because she can do these really, really high voices, and then all of a sudden, she's like BSing right before the panel starts. She's doing all these really high kind of kitty voices, and then all of a sudden, her voice gets really low, like this low, and it's just freaky as hell, and everyone starts applauding because she's going like, "Gee, how did you do that?" "That's why you take voice acting classes." Some of the things that Unreal showed, in particular, were Carlos Ferro talking about a Gears of War premiere at Universal Studios. If you couldn't really catch that, I'm going to basically describe what he was talking about. Some of the minor details I might be pretty wrong on, but basically they were doing a special release for Gears of War 2, and Carlos was there, John DiMaggio, who does the voice for Phoenix, among several other voices and lots of different stuff, was also there. He was actually off to the side playing the game with someone else who won a contest. And the thing is, Carlos's character has this catchphrase where he goes, "Sup, bitches?" And they introduce him, he comes out, And he sees the crowd, and it's like a rock star moment for him, and he goes, "Sup, bitches!" And this crowd starts cheering. Later on, a representative comes up to him and says, "There's no swearing at Universal Studios." And he's a little taken back by this, especially because it's a release for Gears of War 2, I think. Again, I'm sketchy on the details, but I'm pretty sure it was for the release of Gears of War 2 that they were doing this. So, Carlos turns back to John DiMaggio, who's still playing with the guy who won the contest, and he goes, "John, we can't fucking swear?" And John turns back to him and says, "That's fucking bullshit, man!" And Carlos goes, "That's bullshit?" No, and then John turns back and goes, "Fucking bullshit!" That's basically the gist of what happened, and then later on there was some kind of release which called him Carlos Pottymouth Pharaoh. Again, I may be wrong about some of the details on that story, but it was generally hilarious. There were two other things that happened. One, the sexy voice, which is actually stemmed from something Michelle Knotts was talking about. How she was trying to do the voice for this character, and usually they try and like base their performances on some of what the Japanese voice actors did, but the thing is, there's like a culture clash, because they were asking her to do this sexy voice for the character, and the Japanese director was there. So she tries doing like a sultry, low kind of voice, but it doesn't really click with the Japanese director, so she goes back and sees what the Japanese voice actress did, and apparently the sexy voice they were looking for was a really high voice, almost like a 5-year-old boy. I don't know, but from then on, anytime mention of the sexy voice came up, Carlos would keep insisting that they start talking in these really high voices. The other thing that happened in that panel was the jump sound effects. Carlos was actually doing voice work for this other game, I can't remember what it was. Maybe Uncharted, I don't know exactly. But the thing was, he had to do a jump sound effect. And what would happen is, they would keep playing this clip of the person like jumping onto a wall and then jumping to another side of a cliff and like hanging on. The thing is, he mentioned after a while it didn't really sound like jump sound effects, because he's just sitting in a microphone going, "Huh? Huh? 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 Oh! Oh! Huh? Oh!" And that basically just went on and on, but if you saw the short clip at the beginning of one of Unreal's videos of me talking with a guy cosplaying Chester A. Bum, here's what happened. Unreal and I are going down an escalator, and I'm just sort of leaning over the side, and I see this guy cosplaying Chester A. Bum from That Guy with the Glasses. Now, if you don't know who Chester A. Bum is or what his reviews are like, here's what you need to know. He prefaces every review that he does by doing this. "Oh my god, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life!" So, we're going down the escalator, I decide that I just have to say something to him. So, I warn Unreal about what I'm about to do. That was me kicking a square carpet across the floor, by the way. So, I just tell Unreal, okay, I'm gonna go for it. And then I basically like jog up to this bum cosplayer and I go, "Oh my god, that's the greatest cosplay I've ever seen in my life!" And he just starts laughing and he says, "Could I do that again?" Because he had a friend who was dressed as Heath Ledger Joker who was taking video of him running around the convention. So I go, "Okay," and then I basically do it again. And I've been looking for that video and I can't find it. I don't know if he posted it elsewhere or what happened, but I'm still looking for it. The Red Team shirt. It's basically when I bought this. That's the back of it. That's the front of it, and I really need to wash this thing because it got kind of dirty in the move. What happened with that is, there were these people who were selling that shirt among various other like Valve-themed merchandise. One of the guys there was actually cosplaying a Red Medic. So, I decide instantly that I just have to get one of those baseball shirts. But I don't know which team to go for, because they had blue and they had red. So I look over to Unreal, and I notice that he has a blue badge on. Like BLU. I can't remember what exactly it stands for, but... So I decide, and I say this out loud to him. I look over to Unreal, and I say, you know what? Just to spite you, I'm going with red. And then the medic just goes, yeah! And high-fives me as I buy the shirt. But yeah, that's just a recap of everything that Unreal either forgot about or didn't mention from his videos. I gotta go back to moving more stuff. See ya!